Look at the screen. On the left, we have a bouncing, poorly lit clip of a person walking. Now look on the right. We see the exact same action, but the camera glides forward through perfectly sculpted shadows. It is easy to assume the footage on the right was shot on a $50,000 Hollywood camera rig, but the gear rarely explains the difference. When viewers see shaky, unpolished video, their brains immediately recognize it as a raw recording. That physical jarring breaks their psychological immersion. Real cinematography requires mastering 3 physical layers of reality: movement, light, and sound. By intentionally stacking these invisible elements, a basic recording becomes a structured narrative experience. The first layer is the physical stability of the camera. The challenge is eliminating the high-frequency micro-jitters of the human hand without relying on robotic motorized gimbals. We solve this with body mechanics, using the ninja walk. By bending the knees and rolling your weight smoothly from heel to toe, your legs act as an organic suspension system, absorbing vertical impact before it reaches the lens. For static shots, we use the 3-point contact method. Pressing the viewfinder firmly against your eyebrow locks the device to your center of mass. Pulling the neck strap tight creates forward tension, dampening rapid hand tremors. Of course, you don't always have to move. The Japanese director Yasujiro Ozu built his distinct style around entirely static shots, using perfectly still frames to counterbalance the chaotic lives of his characters. Whether you employ organic stabilization to glide through a room or lock the camera down for absolute stillness, establishing strict control over the optical plane is the mandatory first step before we introduce light. The second layer is light. A traditional 3-point system uses key, fill, and backlights to illuminate the subject. To stay believable, cinematographers align these artificial fixtures with practical, in-world sources, like a table lamp, tricking the eye. If that artificial source is too harsh, we use book lighting. We bounce a hard beam of light off a reflective surface, then pass it through a sheet of diffusion to create a soft, wrapping glow around the actor's face. Sometimes, the most effective lighting decision is subtracting light entirely, called negative fill. Placing solid black flags near the subject physically absorbs bouncing photons. This subtraction carves out deep shadows on the unlit side of the face, providing rich cinematic contrast. The goal of lighting is not to make everything visible. It is about directing the audience's emotional focus by actively deciding what we allow to remain hidden in the dark. The third layer of reality is sound. Even perfectly stabilized and masterfully lit footage feels sterile and fake if the acoustic environment is dead. Every physical space has a continuous, unique acoustic signature, known as room tone. An empty office buzzes differently than a suburban bedroom. Laying down a consistent bed of this room tone underneath the dialogue masks the harsh audio cuts between different takes. It prevents the scene from sounding like an empty vacuum to the human ear. We contrast that ambient wash with Foley. These are the hyper-specific, custom-made sounds recorded to match physical actions on screen, like the crunch of gravel underfoot or the rustling of a heavy winter coat. High-quality Foley gives weight and texture to the visuals, connecting the audience to the tactile, physical reality of the objects they are watching. This layered sonic architecture acts as the psychological glue. It bypasses our logical awareness of the screen and convinces the brain that this two-dimensional image is a living, breathing world. When we combine the smooth body mechanics of the ninja walk, the sculpted contrast of negative fill, and the continuous texture of room tone, the illusion is complete. This approach points toward a broader philosophy known as cinematic minimalism. Movements like cinema verite prove that cinematic mastery relies on intentional restraint rather than excessive gear. Historically, this shift began when technological advances introduced lightweight portable cameras. Without the burden of massive studio setups, filmmakers were free to capture raw truth in the real world. We see this philosophy applied today by masters like cinematographer Roger Deakins. His work relies on intentional simplicity, prioritizing natural light and a hands-on, observational approach over heavy stylization. Mastering the fundamental physical, optical, and acoustic layers means you can strip away the heavy rigs, the unnecessary motors, and the artificial spectacle. Elite videography is the disciplined, selective application of restraint. You build the frame layer by layer, using only what is necessary to guide the viewer's eye, ear, and heart exactly where the story demands.